a high temperature, pressure, or we can also use a conventional tumbler. In this case, we need to add one catalyst in the recipe to improve the fastness. For sure, 150 degrees we can obtain the best results. If we work in normal tumbler, the difference is that when we do later the enzyme wash, the polishing, we wash out a little bit more compared to 150 degrees. This is the difference. After that, biopolishing and finishing. So the process is very, very easy. Let me show you something. The hand feel is very, very nice. So depending the parameters, we can adjust parameters in different way, and we can obtain this the most normal one, we can say. It means that we have good levelness. All these practically, most of these are over time with reactive after the line, because we saw that the customer like a lot of this double color effect. And practically this same, but in this case we use less quantity of gel. So less gel means that the gel cannot cover full garments, and some parts still remain raw. Then during overtime, in this case pink on violet, we can obtain also some effect, unlevered effect. Practically what we are doing here is like a coating in the garment machine, because the gel is very, very superficial. This with the fluor. Imagine, as you can see, this part was white, was raw, and the machine, first we make the gel dye. After that we over dye with the yellow dye. The part of hand fit now I can show you. The advantage is that we can control this how to improve or reduce the raw parts. This depends from the adjusting only some parameters in the process. And important also that for you the napkin. Yes. This again the color effect. Yes.
But here and here, you overtime after or before.
You can choose. In this case, overtime later. You can choose. The original was white. There's then the gel with the violet pigment mixed together, and we put the gel already with the pigment side in the machine. 20 minutes, drying, cure. After that, the biopolishing. After biopolishing or during biopolishing, we add the dyes, direct dyes to obtain the contrast on direct dyes or reactive.
I understand what I understand from you, that the injection is not only by soft, but by soft and in addition to another additive.
Yes, this is important. The gel dyeing is a chemical, neutral. Is not colored. You can add any pigment. So, this is the chemical, the base. It is in gel form, and then you add any pigment. So you need to decide in violet, in green, in orange. So you decide the color.
Clear here, because you add the gel compound, and you have to add pigment dyes.
Pigment, yes.
In one bus.
Yes.
You mix it, the gel compound plus the
pigment, and then you put together.
And
mix. Right.
But also when you add the gel compound plus pigment, 1-to-1 also, or what's the?
1-to-1. So this means that I know, for example, to make this orange, you take 1 kilo of the gel compound, and then you add, for example, 30-40 grams per kilo of the pigment.
It depends on the shade what you want.
Yes, for sure, depend intensity, depend. You need to work like dyeing or mostly like printing, because as we are making something very superficial, but the fastness are good, because when we cure, then we...
I have another question. For the garment itself, it needs to be prepared before dyeing?
Yes, to obtain more levelness, so we have, for sure, you need to work on ready to dye garments, prepared for dyeing, clearly. Other way, we have some customer now is making, because the idea is to make some over dyeing to obtain something very unleavened. In this case, for sure, you can't, you can decide also to not prepare before. But to obtain something like this, you need to prepare like for dyeing.
Other question. You can add also in the gel the active garment, or did you add, or you already add the active?
The problem are about the fastness, because if you add reactive, then the light fastness will be practically zero, will be very, very poor. So the problem is, if you use other dye stuff different from pigment, add the fastness, that you lose a lot of light fastness. In this case, you have very good light fastness because we are working with pigment. Also, the pigment is more superficial, so we make only a few tests, and then we saw that the result was not so good, so we follow only with pigment.
So it is better to make it, to mix it, or to add it, the tinted with pigment?
Sorry?
Here in this one, or this process?
Yes.
You will make the gel?
Before the green pigment with the gel, so mix in the machine. Came later, after biopolishing, we hit in over time with direct yellow. So before, after biopolishing was green, and this part was white. Because in this case we worked with the ratio 0.9 gel, 1 kilo garments. So this means that we have less gel in the machine, able to cover all the garments. Yes. In this case we fix at 150 degrees. No. The gel is ready to use product, and in the gel we have all the chemicals inside, so we don't need to add any fixing up. The only things, as explained, is in the case we need to cure, not in the oven, but in the normal tumbler, we prefer to add one catalyst. This is the only chemical that you should add in the case you don't use the oven. So, more or less, this is the process. Okay, this is the picture and these pants. Very, very quickly, last things that we want to introduce you is the overhead white trend. This is another process in cold temperature. This is cold temperature, but in exhaustion method, so this means with the water. And practically, in this case, we can obtain the seams remain raw, because the pigment not dyeing the seams is nice also in this case for bicolors effect. It's suitable for washing or dipping machine, and polymerization is not required. No oven. Tumbler is enough. And is very. We talked also about chalk look, because seems that with a chalk we put a line here. Is the fact that we can stay. Is in pigment 5 minutes at cold. Is in pigment 5 minutes at cold. Then we remove, we make the hydro extraction, and then tumbler drying. With the pigment cold, so the machine still remain clean, no problem, and we can obtain this line like on the seams part. Okay, so thank you very much. If you have any question, I'm here at your disposal. Thank you to FLAINOX. I don't know where is Mr. Bozzo. Thank you again.
Well, I'd like to thank Andrea for being so clear and so passionate by what he described. And in fact, the passion for textile is something that remains and is in our blood. So, thank you very much, and now is at your disposal for any question. Good question.